Hey guys, Richard here for Beyond College Success. And today I want to chat to you about what are your plans towards creating that extraordinary life we talk about here on this YouTube channel. That life you once envisioned for yourself, but also doubt would be possible for you. In this video, I'm going to share with you my plans towards creating that life and also to furnish enough inspiration for you to create a plan for yourself and also to create the life ultimately. I think by default, if you do not have a plan, then you're going to fall into society's plan for your life. And I don't think there's much fulfillment from that. All right, perhaps your plans towards creating that extraordinary life is to start off by going to college and obtaining a degree. Because I mean, with a degree these days, you can do a lot with it, and it definitely do or does invite you into different projects that you wouldn't be otherwise being able to do. Maybe also that gives you a nice flexibility and gives you the opportunity to travel around the world. So those are nice plans that you have for your life in order to create extraordinary life. But I also think that's just scratching off the surface, as you would admit. Or maybe you are involved in a training program, and that training program is investing in you in order for you to become valuable, or makes you or is bringing you into a career that you think would benefit you massively, and as well you'll be able to earn an income from that. Or maybe your plan right now is that you actually do not have a plan. But in this video, I want to share with you some knowledge on how to actually actively create one. And more specifically, the reasons why you need to create one. So why am I even talking about this topic to begin with? So over the last 6 years, I've kind of run my own analysis on why I think we should be talking about this topic. But basically, to give away the catch in this video is that most people have plans, but that plan never really unfolds. Or some people have plans, but they never really have the courage to go after that plan per se. Or some people actually don't have plans and they never really get anywhere, as you would imagine. So there's a difference between people who have a plan and being able to go after it, and the people who actually do not have a plan. So kind of looking at those people I've spoken to literally thousands of people at this stage, even more, I would say. And some of the interesting stuff that I found, this is what I sat down to think about over the last 2 weeks or so, to really kind of understand what really makes some people really successful and what makes other people not so successful. Apart from just success, but what really makes those people go after something that I call the extraordinary life, whereby you are living as an exciting life, you are happy internally, you are on track with your vision and your purpose for your life, and definitely you have self mastery over yourself. Because I think most people that I've come across on a day-to-day basis really do not have self-mastery, and I think that's really where everything starts, right? Because if you can't control all your compulsive behaviors and all the negative things that you're doing in your life, how are you going to create an extraordinary life? So that is what I've kind of came to conclude for myself. Now, this doesn't have to be the case for you. I mean, you might be meeting interesting people on a daily basis, and this might not be the case. But I think if you look at the majority of people in society, you will always notice this behavior pattern, or at least this trend happening with the majority of the population, that most of us are just mediocres. Most people aren't really living an exciting life, and all the baggage that comes with making poor decisions. So, how am I reasoning this whole thing, you might say? Well, the way I kind of came to this conclusion, oh, why do these things happen for these people who really don't accomplish much? Why are they happening to them? Well, I kind of think about it this way. I think for the first 23 years of our lives, there's a framework in place, right? And that framework is, for example, society, our parents, our relatives. All these people are there to really guide us, to steer us in the right direction. However, when we pass 23 years of age, say, for example, we graduated from college and we are starting our own families, or starting on our own as an individual, say we move away from the house, then all of a sudden we are in charge of our lives, right? Then we are actually starting a relationship with another person, perhaps a marriage or some boyfriend or girlfriend thing going on there. So that's where I think most of the problem arise from, when people start making poor decisions. So from age 23 upwards, or 24 upwards, or 25 upwards, whatever time it took you to get out of your parents' nest and start living your own life. So I think from a very young age, so you went to primary school, you got socially conditioned there, and then you went into secondary school, you went through those teenage phase, chose what you wanted to do in college, and eventually you ended up in college. Now you're in college, you are exploring, you are learning hard, or I mean, sorry, you are studying hard in your degree, whatever degree you are at the moment, and that's bringing you to a certain part. But I think when you graduate, you will come to that point where you like, what am I going to do? What career do I want to go? And these are all questions you are asking yourself because you want to stay in line with that true vision that you have for your life, right? But I think that framework in society, like going to primary school, that's a certain framework. Going to high school or going to college or university, there's a certain framework for you. There's not much thinking happening there, and there's very little mistakes you can make within those years. I mean, because everything's kind of given to you. Go through this for the next 23 years and you'll be set for life, right? That's what they tell you, you'll be set for life. But here's what I've come to. I don't think when you go through that 23 years with these solid frameworks guiding you, you'll be set for life. In fact, I think you'll be less prepared for life because all along they have this framework really protecting you. But I think where society really lets you lose and where your family lets you lose is when you are actually in your 25th year or whatever length of time it took you to complete college. But the point is that you're out of the house and you're doing your own thing. I think along those ages, from 24, 25, 26 onwards, you are pretty much your own man or your own woman, and you are pretty much doing your own thing. Now, this is where I think most people make poor life decisions. For example, not choosing to master yourself, or thinking that that is not relevant, or chasing after success in the corporate ladder and then realizing that that's not fulfilling you, or maybe you are in a relationship that is actually serving you nothing, or you have friendship and toxic friends who are really holding you back, or maybe you have all these negative things that's happening in your life and you don't know how to break out of it. So I think all these are really happening when you are in your early 20s and early 25s. And you can see there are people who are actually shooting videos online these days who tell you a couple of the things to avoid when you're going through your 21st, or maybe some of the things they would have done that you should be aware of. Because I think that gap, there's just a lot of gray area and it's so blurred that most people actually just make some choices there. Now, it might sound as though I'm criticizing a lot of people, but I think what I'm doing though is that I'm just trying to pick out what's really working for people and being able to learn from both their success and their mistakes. And I think, I mean, how else am I going to learn from other people's mistakes by just merely listening to them and kind of picking apart what worked? So, by no means am I coming here and saying that everybody's doing the wrong thing. I'm just pretty much doing my own analysis, and I mean, this is what I think about it. So I mean, you don't necessarily have to buy into it, but I think if you're a little bit wise, you will come into the same conclusion that I am running into. So I mean, because I'm not pulling out things from thin air just to criticize people and to judge people. That's essentially my point. So the big question that I have for you is, do you have a plan to actually bypass all the mistakes that people have gone through? Because I can tell you that if you do not have a plan to make sure that, first of all, you have your own inner psychology down, to make sure that you define success in the most meaningful way to you, so that you're not chasing the success that your friends are chasing, not chasing the cars or trying to buy the homes that your friends are buying, or you're not just looking to get rich through a quick and get rich quick scheme or stuff like this? Or what are you going to do with your time when you actually eventually get all this money? I think these are things that are worth pondering when you are starting off your career. Because as I said, if you do not do this, what's going to happen is that you're not going to consciously define what you want. Therefore, you roll with what society is posing on you, and society is very good at this. For example, you will know this already with your friends. Some of your friends will be dragging you into certain things at the moment, and maybe you are that person who knows a little bit wiser. You'll be like, you know what, that's really not what I want, but that's also a sign that you are somebody who is kind of running for his own agenda, right? And I highly commend that when I see people doing that. So that's my point there. Now, I get a couple of objections when I say this to people to start planning their lives so that they have nice friendship and they're able to attract the male or female guy or girl they want in their life to have a successful marriage. Those are will be my tips for actually going to create your plans so that you have stuff like that are very important. Having a nice family, those are important, and having a nice friendship, a friendship where by people who are in your life are actually building you up positively. So that will be plans to take into or tips to take into consideration when you are actually writing out your plan. So the objection is that most people say to me that, Richard, you know what, you're too rigid with this whole life thing. You should be more open, right? And they say, yeah, just chill. Life will work out to be whatever it works out to be. Well, if life works out to be whatever it works out to be, I'll be doing it. But I just think naturally, just from what I've experienced with life, that that doesn't tend to happen. If you do not have a plan, I think even things that you do not expect will happen to you than if you do have a plan. Because I think having a plan is like keeping you on track, right? Whereas if you're traveling on a highway and you do not pay attention to all the barriers, what's going to happen? You're going to run into the fields. And I think that's what most people do with their lives, right? So I do not want that for my life. That's why I'm a little bit cautious. That's why I'm a little bit rigid with some of the things that I do, and why I'm a little bit cautious with the things I do. Because not that I'm trying to go through life trying to avoid mistakes per se, but I also want to have the inner psychology such that if those situations do accidentally happen to me, which inevitably they would, I want to have the inner psychology to be able to untrap myself and unstuck myself as quickly as possible. For example, one of the things I hear about most people, they spend maybe years and years and years at a career that's going nowhere. Now, for me, I'm like, why aren't you making that bold change? Now, most people feel stuck in their career. They haven't put in the time and effort that it takes to actually build that career so that they have enough freedom for what they want to do. Or maybe it's that business that you want to create. But all this require time and effort and investment into creating. So by no means is creating an extraordinary life an easy process. It is not an easy process. I think it's a difficult process, and you have to have a strategy towards achieving that. And you definitely have to have a strategy towards achieving happiness and towards achieving fulfillment. Because if you go by what society is telling you about fulfillment, you really not going to get it. And happiness, the way society really tells you about happiness, is also very flawed model of happiness as well. So all these are worth researching about when you're going through your 20s, your early 20s. These are things that you should be working to nail down in your life. Otherwise, they're going to cause problems for you later on, inevitably. By no means am I wishing, by no means am I wishing bad things on anybody here. I do not wish anything for any body. I think if anything, I want everyone to succeed. So I'm just really saying this from the most encouraging place, but it sounds pessimistic to some degree, but that's not my agenda here. So that's the objection I get. So what is my plan? I'm sure you're glad to know what is my plans towards avoiding most of these problems that I see in society, right? So right now I've purposely taken a year out to figure out what it is I want to do. Most importantly, I want to master my own psychology. I really want to be in tune such that I can master my emotions, master my creativity, at least be on track with some of this stuff. I think actually, to be honest, a year is not sufficient to be able to master some of this aspect of your life, because honestly, they do take decades and they do take a couple of years to actually achieve. But I think I'm actually on that track, and I want to be on that track so that I can have some of these fundamentals in place. I think it's worse to go through life knowing that knowing that what you lacked was just information. It's not lack of opportunity, it's just lack of information. So for me, I want to have this information down. I think it's nice to have the information down and to know where to get those information in case you do get stuck, so that you can unwind yourself and unravel yourself as quickly as possible, rather than kind of groping in the dark when you are faced with a difficult situation. And I think that's what most people do. Not that these people are not smart, they are smart enough, they are intelligent enough, they are honestly bright people, but I think some of them don't really know where the information are at. So for me, I am getting those information from one, audiobooks. I'm reading a lot of books, a lot of different variety of themes, because I won't have this down. I'm not saying I'm going to have it per se 100%, but I want to be working towards that, right? And also, I really want to spend this next year kind of discovering what is it that I really want and articulating that clearly. What is it that I really want out of life, and what is it that I want to contribute to life? I think when I spend time articulating it, then I can go into the external world and start achieving those things and start moving from point A to point B. Here I have my mini library where I have some of the books which have changed my life over the last 7 years, whatever length of time I've been reading this book. Now, this is not to even mention some of the high quality YouTube videos that I listen to and the high quality audio programs I listen to. So I'm genuinely making an effort. And also, I should mention that by no means is this a superior plan. I mean, you might have a plan for yourself and your life. I encourage you to stick with it. And I think just having the plan alone can be good, but also I think you need to stay on track with that plan as well. So, anyways, back to my library here. I think one of the books that really changed my life here is On the Shortness of Life by Seneca. I did a review on this book, but this book is such a powerful book, written 2000 years ago. So, stuff like this really makes massive difference to the way I live my life on a daily basis. So, On the Shortness of Life by Seneca, very powerful book. And I have this book here, Run Your Race, also very powerful. And those books have really made a difference. And also, I read the Bible, very, very powerful stuff here. And these are books that I read on a daily basis, and I continue to read because I want to figure out this thing for myself. And I also want to live that life, right? And I think having these books is so useful. Can you imagine the amount of information and author who spent 80, 70 years, they put down all their wisdom in a book that you can read within how many pages? 120 pages, and being able to learn from that, that's so powerful, because you get to see what the author made or the mistakes they made and what you could do to avoid it. Isn't that powerful? I think definitely books are number one way to go. But also, we don't want to get too hung up on theory. There's also a practical aspect to this as well. So you have to kind of get to that aspect. So most of the stuff I do here, I actually practice it within my environment. Can't really go into that, but the bottom line is that I try to put those words to, or the words I read yet in action, right? Because otherwise you're just doing mental masturbation or reading like tons and tons of information. So definitely be careful of that trap. There's a balance between reading and excessive reading. All right, so that's all I have to say there. And yeah, that's all I have to say in this video. Let me know what you think about this video. I really want you guys to be on track with whatever you're doing and whatever vision you have for your life. I want you and this YouTube video to serve as some frame of reference towards keeping you on track with your idea vision. And I want that for you guys, and I want that for myself. So shoot me a comment, subscribe to this YouTube channel, get someone involved in our cause here, and I will see you next week. All right, bye.